Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world.
Good morning.
Hello, G.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you this morning? Perfect. Good morning, Ayo. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well.
Great. Good morning, Rufy on fire.
Morning, Oji.
How are you this morning? Perfect.
Good, good.
Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending with reactions trailing the PDP meeting, which turned chaotic over a leadership dispute on Wednesday. A video that has now gone viral showed the moment a physical altercation erupted at the People's Democratic Party's headquarters in Abuja during a Board of Trustees meeting. The conflict involved a dispute between Samuel Anyanwu and Sunday Okoye over the position of the National Secretary. Let's take a look at this video before we take some reactions.
Why will my own boys come on? Okay, you're taking me.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
He don't cast.
Have you ever seen anything?
Exactly.
This is so completely disgraceful, really disgraceful. I'm going to take some tweets before I come to you. You know, it just shows so much disrespect.
Oh, yes.
When I saw the video with, you know, the police officer standing there, the first video I saw, there was a man who literally pushed a woman aside to go into that chaotic scene. This person wrote, "There is so much disrespect for the Nigerian police. In other countries, once the police arrives at a scene, every fighting stops and the police de-escalates accordingly. But in Nigeria, they will shove the police aside if possible." While another Twitter user wrote, "The breakout from the PDP Board of Trustees meeting has laid bare a disturbing reality that those seeking to destroy the party seem to outnumber those working towards its revival. It is high time for patriotic Nigerians to urge opposition leaders to, as a matter of urgency, form the coalition." I mean, there have been talks about this coalition and all of that, but this is the most disgraceful thing that I have ever seen. People seeking leadership position, fighting. So what are they trying to lead? Who are they leading? What group of people? Are they going to lead cows? Like, what actually is going on? This is disgraceful.
I mean,
you know, Buhari said that
when you said
Nigerians are cows.
leading cows, you know, I mean, I think some people even fancy cows more than Nigerians in their
I heard
mindset.
that, yes.
We've seen that. So when it comes to this, and I say it don't cast because it shows the decadence in our politics, and that's why, please, I beg politicians, whatever it is, save this country. I don't see hope for this country with this crop of politicians. I do not see hope. And as regards the police force, the disrespect of the police force is something that we should also talk about.
Absolutely.
And also the police force also moving back. I think a matter like this, the police will have stepped in and de-escalated, because when it's with normal citizens, the police always have power. And really, the disrespect of the police force is also because of the way they have conducted themselves. If you go to Abidjan here, the gendarmerie are respected. But moving forward, what is happening? There are two people. Anyanwu went to run for governor. So he left the executive position when he was in the APC. He wasn't successful in Imo. He's now coming back saying, okay, I want to get my position back. Somebody had been put in there. That's the other party I think they had been put in there. Anyanwu went to court. He lost at the court the first place. Went to the appeal court. It wasn't successful. He now went to get a stay that it's pending the Supreme Court judgments that will be decided that he should still hold that position. A lot of people are saying, you have gone to run for governor of Imo. There's what the law and the convention says in the party. That once you go to run, you will fulfill your position. Why don't you fulfill your position? But he wants his plan B to come back to that leadership position in the PDP to subsist. They had a BOT meeting obviously, past chairman, past deputy national chair, headed by Adolphus Wabra, former Senate president. Then one party wanted to get in, the other party wanted to get in. A scuffle ensued. Then they brought about this show of shame in the country. Shame. Also, for me, it's the way the politicians even use our legal system. You have not been successful in the first court, the second court. After the Court of Appeal did rule, you are now going to get a stay. So that until the Supreme Court rules, you'll be able to kill time and you'll be there. The total abhorrent abuse of our legal system is very shocking in this country. Yeah. So these are the people that say they are opposition, they want to lead Nigeria and all of that. Yeah. I can see a lot of people have extrapolated it and say, okay, there are other gladiators wielding the big one in the PDP and all of that. But it shows how politicians get away with murder in this country. Yeah.
Well, a lot of talks about the opposition being weakened. I'd like your thoughts, Dr. Abati, about this sort of conversation about a coalition
Okay, since this is a subject I'm very familiar with, let me just lay it out. I think what we're dealing with, to start with, is a crisis of internal democracy in our political parties. And it is not restricted to the PDP. You'll find it in virtually all the political parties. And it was Senator Adolphus Wabara, the chairman of the BOT, who made the point when he said, look, politicians, particularly within the PDP, should place party interests, I guess by extension national interests, above their own personal interests. We have a political party system where people are just interested in their own ambition. And this has been causing problems within the PDP particularly. First, ahead of the 2015 general election, you recall, that was when the party was splintered, and you had something called New PDP that went into the APC until they got nothing from there. In 2019, it was also the problem, not just at the federal level, but all the way, even at the state levels. There were fights in, branches of the party. In 2023, there was also that controversy over where the presidential candidate should come from. This is part of the problem of the 2023 process, when it was the Southeast Zonal NEC, executive committee of the party, that recommended Sunday Ude. And then Anyanwu says he must have the position. However, what has happened now is that the meeting still held yesterday. And Senator Adolphus Wabara said that there will be NEC meeting in February. That NEC meeting has been postponed again and again for more than 1 year. So you have a political party that cannot organize itself. Now, acting chairman of the party, Ambassador Damagum, also made the point that, look, it's PDP leaders themselves that are causing the problem, because everybody is interested in their own ambition. He is not saying he's the opposition, but there are some people who will say, oh, it's the APC that is disorganizing the PDP. But I think instead of blaming the APC without proof, without concrete evidence, all these are allegations. Damagum, who is the acting chairman himself, he say the people causing the problem are leaders within the PDP. Yeah. And his main allegation is that, look, these PDP leaders, they bypass him, they talk to members of the National Working Committee, so there's no unity within the party, there's no discipline within the party. The party seems not to have the structure to organize itself. The most convenient, simplistic thing to do is to blame the outsider. If they are not blaming APC, maybe tomorrow they will blame Labour Party, or they will blame the obedient movement. The responsibility of every political party is to organize their own affairs. Yes. INEC says this all the time, after every election. Yeah. If you don't have internal democracy, how can you lead Nigerians?
Absolutely, absolutely. In other words, the PDP, you guys need to fix up, really. Well, talking about the police, I'll come to you with this story. We're getting reports of the arrest of a social media user, Charles Uche Ihedioha, who was said to have been arrested by the Nigeria Police Force over his social media comment on the abduction of Folashade Odumusu, wife of a retired Assistant Inspector General of Police, Hakim Odumusu. Folashade Odumusu was abducted by 4 masked men on January 16th, but was later rescued. Charles was reported to have been arrested on Thursday, January 23rd, Allegedly, on the orders of Muyiwa Adejiobi, the police force spokesperson, Charles was said to have commented on X mocking the kidnap of the retired AIG's wife. Again, we're seeing this sort of story. I believe Muyiwa Adejiobi last year had, talked about in fact, ordered the clampdown of people that are, abusing people on social media. He doesn't say it's free speech. He believes it is, cyber bullying. Now, we talked about this yesterday with regards to where to draw the line within free speech and cyber bullying and the Cyber Bullying Act. But this young man apparently was said to have mocked the abduction. I don't know how that constitutes into a crime.
I also share your thoughts as well in terms of how to define. I think that's one of the challenges of the Cybercrime Act, which is that it is difficult to define what constitutes cyberbullying in this instance, whereby it's either the difference between personal insult, banter on social media, Nigerians just having a way with words, and then you constituting that or assuming or projecting that is a crime. We've seen this trend, and it's a worrying trend, Oji, and that's why some people have called for the total abolition of the Cybercrime Act, because it has been abused again and again, especially by the police force. I'd cited in the last interview that the police force had also used the Cybercrime Act against Dele Farutimi by the IG of police, acting on the petition by a private citizen. We've seen that also play out in the case of Omoyele. So no one is spared this. But what we are asking for is that what we're doing and continuous, and that's why when the conversation around the Cybercrime Act came up in the first instance before it was passed, people cited or raised the issue around the gagging of people and an infringement on the right to free speech and the right to free expressions. Now, what did this young man do? He was laughing about the fact that, or he was mocking the IG. Good thing was that the former AIG's wife has been released, and there's a conversation around there as well that other citizens, normal citizens, don't get such a prompt response or rescue when they get kidnapped and their ransom money returned. But also is the fact that we are seeing, I raised the question of Olamide Thomas yesterday, the woman who was also accused of raining curses on the president's son, Seyi Tinubu, Muyiwa Adejobi's family, and the IG of Police's family, and that she's been, she's still in court, she's been granted bail. But what happens to that matter? At what point would we, ascertain that this is madness, and you're actually stopping people from speaking? So I'm not sure what to type anymore on X. If I say, Oji, your hair is ugly, I don't like your face, they'll tell me that it's cyberbullying. So I think the vagueness of the law in itself is what makes it a challenge, and how it can be used as a weapon to target certain people or to pursue personal vendetta. That is the challenge with that law. And I stand with that fact that the law ought to either be fully reviewed or totally abolished.
And because why are we seeing it now? People are talking about it happening in this administration more quickly.
This argument that the law should be scrapped and all that. No, you don't scrap law like that. The thing is, look, the full test of a law is in its implementation. If the law is being abused, then of course, persons can go to the legislature and ask for amendment of those sections that have been abused. So the police are the ones abusing the law, because the cybercrime law of 2015 came about, and then there have been consequential actions. Electronic evidence is now admissible in our courts. Justice Agileye is the leading authority on that. And so many books have been written on the application. There's one by Justice Olatomi Ajayi on cybersecurity law and a plethora of other laws. So you can question how those who are to apply the law are applying it, but to say scrap it, no, that's not how it works. It's like saying go and scrap. So
it's either a full review of the law, but I said some people have called for the abolishment. It might disagree.
And I said that's not the principle.
Talking about amending the law, right?
For me, I join Ayo in this regard.
Talking about scrapping.
And I'm going to say yes, because see, there's somebody that used to be here on the table before that took me through the process of how the law was even passed in the first place. There was not a lot of scrutiny on the part of the, National Assembly members. It was just a take and dump law, on the part of the National Assembly members. And you are beginning to see what is going on as we speak, as regards how this law is being used, especially to target certain groups of people. Till today, I have never heard the Nigeria police call or arrest the founders of Legopedia with all the incitements that they did
during
the elections.
Like, why are they not
I have never, no, if the
I
police
don't even
wants
know.
to pick them up today, they will pick them up. But it's very selective to me, to my mind. And you know, Muyiwa is my very good friend and brother, and I'll say this. To my mind, it looks as though that those that are in support of the ruling party can say anything of any sort against people. The police does not see it. Just like the Mamankeshi issue during the election, Mama Shidima, the police will just selectively not see it.
They came out in defense.
But anything that is against, they will see it. Like you said rightly, Ayo, the police came out in defense of that incident. So we have seen this thing how to happen. But see, going to the rest of the issue, like Dr. Abati, I'm learning from you, the rest of the issue. It is also very bad. And I condemn that young man for going out there and mocking the trauma and the plight of somebody.
All right.
That is very wrong.
All right. So these are still the reports that are just coming in. We don't know.
This is the police PRO, OjyOkpe. He says the young man did not criticize the kidnapping or whatever, but he alleged that the IGP padded the budget. And you think it's a weighty allegation, but he could not explain. Is that not an offense? However, police force is not OjyOkpe. We need to get it right. No fundamental right is absolute. He alleged that the IGP was padding the budget. He meant padding. He wrote passing.
That was also part of
so
the
this
report,
is the main issue.
The
rest.
So that's the rest of the matter.
The rest
The
of
substance.
the matter. You always get it at the end of the day.
So it's not because of
Those were the two reports we got.
Okay, so he said
well, this is the spokesman.
We got both reports.
Yes,
We got both reports. That's his side of the story, as always. We got both reports. But all right, we'll continue on this. We'll continue to follow up on the story, as always. Well, in Lagos, some young people under the aegis of Citizens Intervention for Collective Humanity have taken it upon themselves to mount road signs warning motorists against using designated BRT lanes, while the group criticized the government for failing to put up the signs at the designated lanes. Well, let's take a look at this video before we come back for a discussion.
This is Super Bus Stop as we are descending from OjyOkpe. You know, there's a BRT lane here. This is a federal road apparently, but then the state has put a BRT there. And as a result, you will notice that if you enter here, some police officers are waiting ahead. They call them Ganusi, like Alaji was saying, the Kwanwa will say. So, because the government will not do it, we'll do it for ourselves. This is do not enter. And we are encouraging everybody wherever you are. Let's look out for ourselves. So we'll put this one here. Let us hope they won't remove it. Instead, we hope they make it even better. Because we are now using just flex and wooden frame. So we'll put it here, frame. So if you are coming to OjyOkpe, we are telling you, because this is our own hood, do not enter this BRT lane. Police officers are waiting ahead to extort you. All of you can copy this and do it in your own area. So if I come to your own area too, and I see this, I will know that I'm driving against traffic, so I will be cautious, all right? So government has constituted themselves as opponents to us, so we should look out for ourselves now.
All right, this was a trending video. I mean, it was amazing to see citizens taking action, citizen intervention, and I love it. I mean, I know a lot of people that have fallen victim to this BRT incident, and you know, and we are seeing.
But sometimes police say pass, authorities say pass.
I think the police. I'm glad that the police spokesperson is listening and watching. They should know that area. I believe it was the OjyOkpe area, but it's not. That sign must not be brought down. No. Really, because we are going to monitor. It should inspire more signs.
What you should use iron, because this one they will bring it down.
But it was so sad to see that there was even a place where a part where the sign was built up and it was destroyed because
sometimes they actually turn the sign away so you don't see it.
Come on now.
And this also speaks to the people's distrust, or it makes it worse. The people's distrust of the police police force. Mr. Adejobi did an interview late last year where he was talking about one of the challenges that they face a lot is the perception of the police force and how people don't trust. But it's things like this that erodes the trust of people when you know that police officers or law enforcement agents are out there waiting for you to fail so that they can extort. Unlike in other places where when a CCTV camera is there, it's there as a deterrent, not to catch criminals, so that you don't even do it, so that prevention is better than cure. But in this country, a lot of times they just want to use it as an opportunity to catch you, get money from you, and that's very, very unfair.
And please, in the spirit of this, please maintain the speed limit on 3rd Mainland Bridge. I'm begging you.
Well. All right.
Please, I'm not saying we didn't tell you. 3rd Mainland Bridge, they are watching
we
you.
all have our
80 kilometers, so don't go more than
Absolutely.
that.
We all have our part to play as citizens of Nigeria to move our nation forward. Kudos to those young men. Well, let's now highlight these videos of graduating youth corps members who have paid tribute to the efforts of their benefactors respectively. In one video, a corps member, Victory Sunday, was seen surprising her mother at a market where she works. And in another video, a corps member, Chinyebere, was seen appreciating her sister for seeing her through school. Let's take a look.
Goodness of the Lord, I can't explain His mercies every day. Testimonies from around. This is the doing of the Lord. This is I can't explain His mercies every day.
What's up for the sister that used to send me food stuff all the way from Lagos to school? Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip. To the sister that since I lost my mom, she has been the only one that has been taking care of me. Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! To the only sister that if I'm not okay, I can call her and she will answer me. Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip.
Very emotional.
And emotional.
That's very touching. I mean, this kind of, human angle story, good story, just tells us about humanity, appreciation, and, it's just very moving.
Yes.
And I would like to, commend all those young persons who, having graduated, honor their parents, their sisters, those who supported them through school.
Fantastic, Dr. Abati. I didn't know he was so emotional. Of course, I have to continue to highlight
because
this.
the truth is, it's not easy sending a child to school in Nigeria or a ward to school. It's not an easy one.
Anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely, congratulations.
I don't think people saw it. I'm not trying to embarrass Dr. Abati, but I know his glasses might prevent people from actually seeing his eyes. I just want people to see that, Dr. Abati is always quoting the Lord, the emotional and human side of it. So he wasn't close to tears. He had tears.
Yes.
And I think it's as a result of him being a father and knowing how much money, and understanding the sacrifices of the parents.
Ayo, you've not seen Dr. Abati has a lot of empathy.
Forget
all the losses.
Once in a while, we get a glimpse
There was
of
a
it.
particular story we told. I think it was the early days I just joined the morning show. I'll never forget that story. It was a story of a child that had cancer.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
Dr. Abati was in tears. Yeah. He couldn't even hide the tears. With
the emotional Dr. Abati!
It's also a lover boy!
Well, all right. Kudos to those young, beautiful women for honoring their mother and their sister. Well done. Well, let's head over now to the United States to share our condolences over the tragic incidents involving an American Airlines flight that collided mid-air with a military helicopter in Washington, D.C. The American airline jet was carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members, while 3 U.S. Army soldiers were on board the military helicopter. The plane crashed over the Potomac River. Rescue efforts are on the way as police, divers, and boats are still searching the water for survivors, while U.S. authorities are investigating the incident. The collision happened on approach to runway 33 at Reagan Washington National Airport around 9 p.m. local time. One tragedy too many. Ayo, can you believe this sort of tragedy? It hasn't been heard of. I mean, even in the American airspace, for decades, a military helicopter colliding with, you know, a civilian jet. I mean, the matter right now is, I mean, there are no survivors. I believe that about 18 or 20 bodies have been pulled out. The numbers will keep rising. But this incident, I mean, definitely technical glitches. The incident could have been avoided. We want to know the end of it. We want to know why that military jet went in that collision.
So my commiserations, you know, to the lives lost, because it makes it even more painful when these people were about to land. Some of them had sent messages to their relatives that were already waiting in the airport that will be here in the next 20 minutes. And you see that just go off. And guess what? Some of their relatives were in the airport.
Yes,
waiting.
Yes.
Take them when that thing happened. But secondly, I think it was one of the, you know, American media that had done an extensive report as regards air traffic scheduling and talked about near mishap situations of flights almost hitting each other or planes in the sky almost hitting each other because of the traffic in airports around America. That is also extensively established. So Pete Hegg said this tweet today that the DOD would look at it, and I'm sure investigations would definitely be on. There's been briefings as regards this. The airport will be shut till about 11 or 12 a.m., you know, Virginia time. They say the situation is still very fluid. They're going to look into it. Rescue efforts are still on. It's a very frigid water, so even if they land the plane and, you know, but it was an explosion mid-air, so the possibility of getting people out, definitely, it's a far one now as we speak, but it's really very sad. We would like to see what Pete Hexet and his team gets out after their due investigation into this. Also, American Airlines, the airlines involved, has opened up you know, this line for family members to contact. I think it's a 1-800 number. You know, it's a very sad one at this point in time. We can only pray, you know, for help and, you know, prayers out there at this time.
There is going to be a nationwide prayer procession in Wichita at the Aviation Museum for those that have lost their lives. Again, may their souls rest in peace. Really sad. Only yesterday we were talking about, you know, the incident of Max Air. Too many tragedies with this airline. Even the other day I saw.
On that. I think Max Air has been.
Max Air has been suspended. Yes,
yeah.
I mean, and I think that it's a good thing. I mean, for them to do that. Again, we commiserate with the Americans at this moment. May those that have lost their lives, may their souls rest in peace. All right, now. Just for a lighter mood, we'll take our final story under entertainment, highlighting Afrofusion star Burna, who delivered a stunning performance at the Paris La Défense Arena in France. It was the Grammy Award-winning artist's first performance of the year. Burna thrilled the audience with an array of his hit songs, including a powerful rendition of Last Last. Let's take a look.
For the result, nothing to discuss, cause I did with back. And without any doubt, I'm me, I be adult, I no go feed the result. I have to say bye-bye, yo. Bye-bye, yo. Bye-bye, yo. Bye-bye, yo. Bye-bye, yo.
Ojogu Burna. I mean, look at that crowd. Really, Nigerians are doing.
Burna.
Odogu. He's also Odogu. He's Oluwa Burna. I mean, that was such a fantastic event. It's a gala. It's also a fundraiser, to rebuild hospitals in France and all of that. I love to see these sort of stories. It just gives me goosebumps. Congratulations to all our Afrobeat stars. Oluwa Burna, congratulations. Well, I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending Today. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending Today. I'll see you all tomorrow.